Hi and welcome back to Rishi's World. So this video is a wrap up of my May reads. We have still got a few days left in May, so I may add to it, but I've got a lot coming up, which I'll get to later, so I thought I need to film it now. Let's go ahead and get into it. So last month is the first time I ever did a TBR prompt jar picks my May reads, and I got a bit carried away. I think I ended up with like 10 books on it just because I found it quite exciting picking the prompts out of the jar. And then I did realise towards the end that I also needed to include my book club book for my physical book club that I go to, and also a book that I'd borrowed off somebody. So I ended up with loads, and I think the most I've ever read in a month ever is like 8. So I wasn't really expecting to get through the whole list, but I've done pretty well. So the first book that I picked last month on my TBR jar was A Court of Mist and Fury, and that was the prompt for the most recent book you bought. So it had been a while since I read the first one in the series. Like, I did it as a buddy read via WhatsApp with a group of people before Christmas. And I did want to continue with the series to see if I liked it, but I wasn't like mad into ACOTAR. I think maybe it might have been partially because I was having to read so many chapters at a time rather than at my own pace. But also it was just a bit Beauty and the Beast, a bit simple. I wasn't mega sold on Tamlin's character. Like this one, however, oh my God, I devoured it. Like, I was obsessed. I just couldn't get enough. I just wanted to pick it up every spare second I got. Absolutely loved like following on her journey. And I don't know, is it Rhysand or Rhysand? I don't know how you pronounce his name. I love him. I love who she is when she's with him. And Valaris. I just loved the whole thing. So much so that I did go out and buy the next one, and this will be on my June TBR, which I'll get to a bit later on. But yes, this one I rated 5 stars. Just amazing. And then the next book that I read, what prompt was this one from? The Inheritance Games. This one I got for a book with flowers on the cover, because I remember if you look closely, there's lots of green roses all around the outside. So that's what I picked for that one. I just wanted to see what all of the fuss was about, really. And I flew through it, binged it, nice, easy read. Will read the rest of the books in the series, but it's not the best series I've ever read. I did like the logical, you know, like the little thinking games, logic puzzles, little things like that they had to solve. Like, I didn't like what's it called, that is it Darren Brown, no, the Da Vinci Code. I didn't like that because that was a book written for adults and the puzzles in it were far too simple, whereas the books in this, the puzzles in this were more suitable for the age that the characters were, if they were clever enough to solve them. So I actually preferred, in that sense, this to the Da Vinci Code, but it's not the best series I'll ever read. But yeah, I did really enjoy it. I think I mean, obviously, I definitely gave this one the full 5 stars. This one, I can't remember without looking on my phone. I knew there's a reason I should have looked at my phone before I started filming on it. I think I might have given this 4.5 stars, maybe, or 4. I'm not sure, something like that. And then the next book that I read was 5 Survive. This I picked for a book with a number in the title. I don't even know why I'm holding them up because you can't see. I'd heard really good things about this. I think Hayley Pham rated it really highly. It's been on my shelf for a long time, probably since shortly after it was released, and I've only just got round to reading it because I've seen a lot about it on BookTube and stuff. It's I found it a bit slow to start. Couldn't really get into the characters and things like that, but then I did get into it. I think it would make a really good movie, and I feel like the book got better and better and better as it went on, so much so that at the end I think I actually rated this 5 stars. But thinking about it now, I think I probably would downgrade it to like a 4 stars. It would make a great movie, but book wise, when I think about it, the characters, some of them were okay, some were a bit 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional, whatever you say. Not mega realistic, but I think it would make a fun, like, teen slasher type movie, or sniper type movie. But yeah, anyway. Then the next book that I read was None of This Is True, by Lisa Jewell. Now, this one was my book club book. Did I, however, use it for a prompt? No, I didn't. I put this in because it's my book club book for the month. Now, I didn't actually read this one physically, the physical copy, even though I had it. I listened to it on audiobook, and oh my God, 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. This has been like the best month for 5-star reads ever. I don't think I've had like a bad book, except for one that I didn't finish, but all the ones that I completed have been really good. But it was amazing. Like, I've got a bit of a crush on Nicola Walker, who was in Unforgotten and Spooks and things like that on the TV. And on the audiobook, I did a free, like, not a free trial, but I did a Spotify trial where it's $11.99 for 3 months. And within that, you get, I think, 7 or 8 hours free listening per month. So I listened to this. And she was the voice, Nicola Walker was the voice of one of the characters, and then another actress was another voice. But because it was like podcasty, you got to like listen like it was a podcast, listening to her answering the questions in the podcast. There was some interviews with like family and friends, and you could hear the background noise of like the cafe where they'd met and them talking, and it just brought it all to life. It just felt so real that I absolutely loved it. And obviously I've read books by Lisa Jewell before, some that I've absolutely loved and some that I wasn't so fond of, but I know that she is a popular author for a reason, and yeah, this was off the scale. Loved it. For the prompt, a book with an LGBTQIA+ theme, I picked If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. So I think I'd actually started this a few months ago and like softly DNF'd it. I think it was just like I started reading it in the car somewhere because I didn't have anything else on me, and then I carried on when I got home reading the books I was already in the middle of. But I started it again anyway, and it was better than I thought based on the initial little bits that I'd read before. So it's like trans. So yeah, so this character called Amanda, she's at a new school, but at her old school she used to be called Andrew. So she's transitioned, and I quite liked it actually. Like the topics it touches on, like I know that it's, unless the person writing the book is actually trans, which they may be. Yes, looks like she was. But it's partially inspired by her experiences as a trans woman, so you get to like a little glimpse in the head of some of the feelings, but at the same time it's going to be different for everybody, so that's only an insight into one or a few people that inspired the book's story. So I'm sure it could be completely different for other people, but I just love getting perspectives and things like that. This one, oh no, I'll do the DNF one first. So after, I think it was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, I started reading this thinking it might be along, like, I was lent it by somebody who really enjoyed it. Last time I was lent a book by this person, I also loved the book rec that they gave me, but this one just wasn't doing it for me. I couldn't get into it. I found it a bit boring. I got a fair chunk of the way through, probably like maybe a third or something, and I just wasn't interested, and I thought life's too short to read beep books, so I DNF'd it, and that was for the prompt an author you've never read. So I picked this one because it was a borrowed book that I needed to give back, which I actually still need to give back. And then the next book that I read, Foxglove. This was for the prompt a book with an animal on the cover. And I know when I was doing my prompt jar, this could have been picked for so many prompts. And I really wanted to read it, but for some reason I kept picking other books over it for every prompt. And then I got to the animal one and I was just like, yeah, it's going in. It's fitting every prompt for a reason. I didn't think I would like it as much as Belladonna, but I actually ended up liking it even more, and now I cannot wait for Wisteria. I wasn't sure whether it was a duology or a trilogy, or whether we don't know how many books it's going to be. But obviously now that I've finished this, I googled. I didn't want to Google until I'd read this in case I spoilt something for myself. But there's definitely at least one more book after this because it's coming out in August. Yeah, I just loved it. I felt like because we already knew a lot of the characters have already been developed for us, the writer could focus on a lot more like intricate like twists and turns in the story and a lot more sort of little facets to it, more characters. So in the Belladonna, the first book, Death was a tangible character, sentient being, whatever words like personified, you know, like all that sort of stuff. And in this one, Fate is introduced as a character, and I won't say too much actually about anyone else in the book and things, but loved it. 5 stars. I know. It's because I'm watching a lot more BookTube that I'm getting recommendations, and you know, rather than just looking at a book that looks interesting on the shelf, I'm picking ones out that other people have loved, and it's working for me. It really is. So then this book is just the dust jacket, because like I said, we have got a few days left in May and I'll probably have this done by the end of it. But this I picked for the prompt a hardback book. And I picked Cheetah by Karen Rose. I've read every single one of her books. They're nearly like 2 shelves full. It must be in the 20s of all the books I own of hers. I haven't enjoyed them as much lately, but this one is from, I think it's the San Diego Case Files, and I'm really enjoying it because the characters, I've been waiting for their love story for a long time, and I love the family dynamics, I love the crime aspect. I think everything's going to come together in this book of all the things that I like about Karen Rose's books. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. In fact, why am I even saying I might be done with it by the end of May? I will be. Which leaves 2 books left that I pulled out of the prompt jar last month, which was probably too optimistic that I would ever read that many books in 1 month anyway. But I picked this book for a book with a great first sentence. Didn't get round to it. It's not like one that was on my pressing TBR to be read immediately. So I'm happy to wait for that. And then Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. It's short, and every time I picked a new book and I didn't know how much time I would have in a busy week, I thought I could pick this, and I just didn't. I was actually going to read this one to see if I wanted to continue with the series, because I just really didn't enjoy the first, and do you know what, I'm just avoiding. I think I'm just going to bin off this series. I think the only reason I'm continuing is because I bought it as a box set. Hello, wifey. Hello. I can't pause it. It's all the way over there. I can't reach. This is Spencer, everybody. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll only be 5 minutes. This is Spencer. He's my boy. Aren't you? Are you going to say hello? Oh, yeah. So anyway, I'm sacking off this series. I bought the box set for cheap from Costco. Oh, Spencer. So anyway, that's the end of that. The wrap up just before I go is to say that I'm not going to be doing the TBR prompt jar this month, even though I did it for the first time last month. Absolutely loved it, because I'm going on holiday for a month in June. So going on the 4th of June, I think we fly out, and coming back the 3rd of July. So I'm having to be careful with how many physical books that I take. So I've downloaded books to the Kindle and downloaded some audiobooks with some free trials. So I'm going to have to continue with the prompt jar when I come back. I know that for the next month, my book club's pick is The Housemaid, which is quite thin, but I've also downloaded it on my Kindle, so I don't actually have to pack it weight-wise. I am obviously taking this one paper copy because it's just a matte cover. I love a nice thick paperback. That'll be comfy for me to read on the plane. And then obviously, I mean, it's an 8.5-hour flight. I might just read this, or I might pick this up, read a bit, and then read a bit of another book. Or watch a movie or something. But if I don't finish it, we've then got like a 7, 8, 9 something hour drive the day after we get there down to Miami. So I can continue reading some of it then. This book is set on a cruise, and it sounds quite cool. So I thought that I would take this because I'm going on a cruise while I'm there to read on the boat. And then I've downloaded this as an audiobook in case I get to it. Because I've got the physical copy here, it's a way of getting through my physical TBR, but without actually having to take the book and read it physically. And then on top of that, I have downloaded to my Kindle the first book in about 4 different series. I think I've downloaded, which ones? I could have a look if I paused you. I've downloaded Scythe, Caraval, The Cruel Prince, the Red Rising one that I said before. They're all on my Kindle, along with a John Marrs novel, The Minders, and another book that I picked on there randomly. And then on audiobook, I've got Shatter Me, the Good Girl, Bad Blood one, and The Family Experiment by John Marrs, his newer one. So I've got plenty, and what I figured was, because I don't have those first in the series of all those books physically, thought I could read them on the Kindle. If I like them, then I would put the box set on my birthday list, because it's my 40th birthday in August. So I'd put the box set on so that I could get all of the other books in the series along with the physical copy of that one, but for cheaper than buying them separately. Because I didn't want to sort of waste money if I already had a book here, then paying for it on the Kindle. So I thought this is a good way to not waste money on a series, see if I like it, still get the physical copy if I do, and I continue with the series. So that's why I'm not doing a prompt jar pick this month, because I don't want to pack too many physical books. Don't know what I'm going to read amongst those, like mood reading while I'm there. It's one of those, I may be in the pool and on the beach and playing with my niece and nephew. Well, I mean, they're older, but, you know, doing things. Tourism, being a tourist, like mooching around and stuff rather than reading. And like on the ship and stuff, I might be doing some other activities. But at least I've got a big stash of books if I do choose that over all else. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the end of my holiday when I pick July's. It'll already be into July when I'm picking July's read, because I don't get back until the first week of July. I may do a little bit of a reading vlog while I'm on holiday. I might just do a little vlog about each book that I'm reading. Yeah, and the reason as well, like, that I read that other book or listened to it on audiobook for the book club last month, I was testing it out because I'm not really an audiobook girl. But I figured I always have all these grand ambitions of reading loads by the pool and the beach and stuff when I'm on holiday. And then I find the sun really bright. That I find the pages bright and and I find that I don't read that much because, you know, like I'm just squinting and things. So I thought, well, I could just put headphones in and just lie down on the deck chair or whatever and the lounger and listen to a book instead. I thought that would be quite relaxing, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, bye bye now.